I'm now earning 3% on my high yield savings account. Just last week, CIT Bank had an APY of 2.10%. Now it is at 3%, and that number is likely to increase. So here we go. A high yield savings account is a savings account in which you put your money, which will earn more interest than if you were using a brick and mortar bank. For example, banks like Bank of America, Citizens Bank, Chase, banks that have overhead expenses don't have the money to give you higher rates on your interest on your savings because they have all those expenses. They have employees they have to pay, they have rent they have to pay, they have utilities and all that. So online based banks like Ally Bank, CIT Bank, they don't have all those overhead expenses, so they can afford to give you more back in interest. So that's what a high yield savings account is, and that's why a lot of people use them, because if your money's going to be sitting in an account, it might as well be sitting in an account that will give it more money back per year. So banks like Bank of America usually have an average rate of like 0.01% APY. So making sure you're using the best bank is going to be your best bet. So what do you use a high yield savings account for? You're going to want to use a high yield savings account for money you need to keep liquid. For example, if you are buying a car in the next year or a couple months, you don't want to put that money in the stock market because you don't know where the stock market will be in a couple months, especially in today's climate. You want to make sure you're going to be able to have the same amount of money you put in when you're ready to take it out. So the stock market is a little bit of a gamble. You can use this video and make the decision that works best for you, but I wouldn't personally recommend that. So another reason you would want to use a high yield savings account is if you have money that you just want to save. If you're saving for a house, you can put it in a high yield savings account. If you want to just save in general, you can put that in a high yield savings account. It doesn't have to be any special reason. Another benefit to having a high yield savings account is even though you do have complete control and access to your money, you're less likely to spend that money in the savings account because it's not as easily accessible as like the savings in your Bank of America account. You would have to wait. Sometimes it might take a couple business days to transfer it in, and you're just like not like as likely to touch it because you're not gonna have like a card associated with that account to go in the store and buy things with, right? So that's number 2. You can also use your high yield savings account for emergencies. Just saving for a rainy day. Like I said, if you're going to have savings in an account, you might as well put it in the account that's going to give you 3% APY versus the account that's only going to give you 0.01 APY, right? So things you need to know about your high yield savings account that are really, really important are that the interest you make on your high yield savings account is taxable. So any interest you earn from the time you open your account to the time you close it, you will be taxed on. So at the end of the year, they're going to send you a form in the mail. So just make sure, either at the end of the year or during tax time, they're going to send you a form in the mail. So just make sure you hold on to that for when you need it. Not only is the interest you earn taxable, but you also are subject to your interest rate being changed. So you know how the feds are announcing right now it's higher interest rates for those who are borrowing money, and less people are going to be borrowing money because the interest rates are so high. That works in your favor if you are keeping your money in one of these banks where they're paying you more to keep your money there. So your APY is higher because of what's going on in the economy and because the feds are making it that way. So if the economy ever goes back to a normal state, your interest rate is subject to change. So right now, your interest rate could be 3%, like mine is. In 2 years, that could drop down to 2%. It could be 4% next month. So it is subject to change. So if you are getting a good offer, seeing a good offer, I would definitely hop on that, take advantage of that, because you don't know how long it's going to be available and when it'll change. So make sure you're getting the most you can out of the money you have. If your money's going to be sitting, you might as well put it in a bank that you're going to be earning 3% versus 1.01%. Now we're going to get into the different banks. Some banks will advertise that they have the highest APY in the country, which is just not true. It's just all marketing. But I will give you a quick tip. So like, for example, Ally Bank, if you go on their website, you put in your email, you look around for a little while and show interest. If you wait 24 hours or a couple hours, they're going to email you with an offer saying like, hey, if you sign up with us now, you can get an extra 1% on top of what we're already advertising, and they'll give you like a welcome bonus for joining. So you can get like 10%, not 10%, it might be like 1% extra on the money you are depositing, like a welcome offer. Like sometimes, you know how credit card companies will say, this is a welcome bonus of 60,000 points. It's kind of like that. So Ally Bank is a good option, but they don't have the highest APY. So Ally Bank is an option. Currently, I think they're at 2.35% at the time of this video. CIT Bank has the highest interest rate APY that I have seen, which is at 3% currently. Like I said, last week it was at 2.10, so it's always increasing. You just never know. Marcus by Goldman Sachs is a great option. Their interest rates, let's look it up really quickly. Marcus by Goldman Sachs has a 2.35% APY, which is similar to Ally Bank. Amex, American Express is another option. Discover Bank is another option. Citibank, I think, has high yield savings accounts as well. Charles Schwab is another option. So I'm just going to show you guys really quickly what to look for on the website. So what you're going to want to make sure you look for is if you're going to have to pay any fees, any monthly maintenance fees, any withdrawal fees, any annual fees, any fees. You don't want to be paying fees, because there are banks you can put your money in with no fees. The bank that I currently use, CIT Bank, no fees. It's amazing. You don't need to be paying all these fees. You're also going to want to make sure that they have the FDIC logo somewhere on their page, which just means your money is insured up to $250,000. If anything were to go left, you make sure you're good. So, hold on. Sorry about this, but see how in the corner here it says member FDIC? You just want to look for that. And also, just make sure when you're on the website, you're looking at all the terms, conditions, what they can offer you, if there's any stipulations to opening an account with them. You want to make sure you're doing your research and comparing these accounts to other companies who are offering the same thing, because sometimes, like I said, Ally Bank is also offering 2.35%, but with Ally, you can also get a bonus 1% and extra money on your money that you're already depositing. And let me just actually show you really quickly that email that they sent me, so that you guys can see what I'm talking about and know what to look for. So it says a rate increase plus more time to get a 1% cash bonus. Move money, get paid up to $500. So when you open an eligible Ally Bank account by 10 blah blah blah, that date is specific to me, because they know exactly when I went on their website and they're trying to get me to open an account as fast as possible. So your date is going to look completely different. And it's talking about inflation. So they're saying their rate just increased from 2.25% to 2.35%, because the rates are increasing. But why I stopped there, we're upping the ante with a 1% cash bonus that lets you get even more out of your money, and they're blah blah blah. So not only will you get that 1%, you'll get a 1% up to $500. So just showing you different things like that, details not to miss. And so for them, the minimum cash bonus is $10. So no matter how much money you put in, you'll at least get a $10 bonus. Yeah, so that's a pretty good deal. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you look into that. And that pretty much sums up this video. If you have any questions, comment them below. If you want me to elaborate on anything, comment below, and I'll see you guys soon.